if you're on. Welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news, updates, debates, and my opinions. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. We hit 4,000 subscribers live on stream yesterday. The next target is 5,000 or 4,100. If we're being conservative, that would be the next one. I hope you're all doing very well. I hope you've all had a fantastic day. As you can see, Declan Rice, very nearly done now. We are into the absolute final closing stages, which feel like they've been going on forever. But we are finally getting there now. Good to see you in the chat. Leo, SS9, Young Sar, Vald, Vulskin, Ross, Leo, Jake, and Dirks. Dirks, winner of yesterday's Guess the Gooner. I've had a very good day, thank you. I have had a very good day. Got a trim. The reason being, actually, and I should say this, in 2 days, I am going to Romania. I'm going to Romania, and I'm there for 4 days. So there will not be streams Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, unfortunately, because I will be in Romania. And but there will be videos. There will be videos. They're going to be a different style of video to this channel. Reaction videos. I'm going to be reacting to some Arsenal-related videos. So that'll be what's on the channel for a few days at the end of this week, unfortunately. If there is massive news, I will try and upload a video from my phone whilst I'm in Romania. But we shall see. Have a class time, what about Jordan? So I was meant to be, that's from a tweet I did a while ago, where my next destination was meant to be Jordan. The reason being, I completely forgot. Jordan's later in the year, hopefully. I completely forgot I had a stag do in Romania this weekend. One of my good friends from back home is getting married in August, and we're going on a stag do. Yeah, also doing some scouting of the Romanian talent pool. Not sure what sort of talent we're talking about there. Don't know if we're on the same wavelength, but we will be scouting some talent. And also, you know, maybe freeing Top G. Who knows? Who knows? That would be a belting TikTok if I could find Andrew Tate, but we shall see. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know where the live streams are going to be at the end of the week. But let's get into today's topics of conversation. And the first one is Declan Rice, this saga that feels like it's been dragging on forever and ever. And there is a reason for it. You know, Arsenal and West Ham are battling against each other to get to agree on the structure of the deal. £105 million package was agreed long ago. That was when we kind of relaxed about definitely signing him. But the way that was going to be paid was, you know, being fought over. And basically, West Ham wanted the entire 100 million. So it's 100 million plus 5 million in add-ons. That's the total package. And West Ham wanted that 100 million to be done in 18 months. Now, that is ludicrous. That is obscene. And it is basically unheard of in football. And Arsenal have been fighting. And according to Jacob Steinberg, who's been very good with this, Arsenal are close to finalising terms over their £105 million deal for West Ham's Declan Rice, with the guarantee portion of the fee expected to be paid in 3 instalments over 24 months. So it was basically West Ham wanted 2 instalments over 18 months, and looks like we've pushed it to 3 instalments over 24 months. Now, it might feel like that's not a whole. It might feel like that's not a whole lot. It might feel like all of this, the last week of negotiating to get an extra 6 months, might not be a lot. But it is. It is a lot. And the reason is, it pushes the deal into 3 accounting years rather than 2. So the 3 instalments over 3 accounting years, effectively, is an additional signing either this summer or next that we can pull off, that we wouldn't have been able to do had we not extended it over that time. Now look, this is still a fantastic structure for West Ham, like seriously good structure for West Ham, and they've done exceptionally well to do it, but that extra bit of difference could be massive for us if we can bring in an extra player and that player has a serious effect. So ultimately, it'll have been worth it. Like, it's a week of frustration for us, but it's worth it. So we are very, very, very nearly there, and I would expect we see something by the end of the week. Now, today's announcement, of course, there was a big announcement today. Alessia Russo has officially signed If you've not seen the video, go on Twitter. I think it's on their TikTok as well. Actually, there are two different announcement videos for Russo. So there's one that Arsenal Women posted, and then there's one that she posted on her own account. The one she posted on her own account is actually a very good video. So go and watch that. But look, this is the reverse RVP. This is the reverse Van Persie. We have taken Man United's best player on a free whilst we're competing with them in the league. That is sensational. Absolutely sensational. And to be honest, the feeling I got from that announcement and scrolling through Twitter and seeing the United fans being unhappy about it, I can only imagine what it actually felt like for United when they took RVP from us. So it's very good that we've got her. And I mean, it's actually, to be honest, the biggest part of it is, are you from Romania? No, I'm not from Romania, no. We're just going there for a stag do. The staggering part is that it just shows that the incompetence of Man United under the Glazers, of their board and their negotiators and all the rest of it, it actually extends well beyond the men's team. Because in January, they were offered a world record fee for a women's player twice by Arsenal, and they rejected both of them, only to lose her on a free 6 months later. So, shocking business from them. But very, very good for us. And I think it shows, you know, that the women's team has always been ahead of the game. Obviously, we have been caught up a bit by Chelsea in the past, but it's very good. Do you think Blackstenius is leaving now? I would expect so, yeah. The women's, the attacking depth that the women's team have right now is unbelievable, which you need when everyone drops with ACLs through the season. But yeah, it's very, very good. Both men and women's teams making serious inroads for the title. Absolutely, absolutely. 8th filming then? Yeah, so there is still a day on the 8th that's completely blocked out. So it seems like yesterday, we said that yesterday yesterday afternoon was the stadium tours were all closed and it was all blocked out. That was for Alessia Russo. It may also have been for William Saliba's contract. And that is a lovely... I've done that professionally as we move into William Saliba. So this was coming from Fabrizio Romano. William Saliba will sign official new long-term contract with Arsenal very soon. It's just a matter of time. Agreement sealed 1 month ago. Deal until June 2027 with an option for a further season. Now, this is quite important because basically Fabrizio Romano is the only person reporting that we've got a year extension in Saliba's contract. Every other report has been that it's a 4-year flat deal. Fabrizio, and he's done it consistently, is the only one that keeps saying that there's a year extra option in there if we want it, which would take him till 2028. Now, that would be ideal if that 1 year is in there, and I quite like it. I like it when the giants of the in-the-nose go against each other, and I rate the fact that Fabrizio he's going alone on this one. He's going alone on this one, and I hope he's right on it as well. One more signing after Rice and Timber. Very possibly two, actually. I wouldn't surprise me if we signed 2 after Rice and Timber. Obviously, Lavia is still a possibility. I don't know. The Lavia... I mean, it came out last night from Sky. Is it Sheth, the Sky guy, that Arsenal aren't interested in Lavia and that there haven't really been any talks. But then there are other reports that say we are interested. So I think the Lavia one is interesting. But I just think, look, with the back and forth negotiations for Declan Rice, I think the fact that Timber's still not over the line yet, you know, Edu has been very, very busy. I will talk about this. Lacazette top 5 striker. There's a reason that that's been put in there, and I will talk about it. Absolute scandalous football content. When can we expect a Timber announcement? Again, perfectly takes me on to the next thing. So again, this was from Fabrizio. This was earlier this morning on, I can't remember, he was on someone else's YouTube channel. But he said, from what I'm hearing, the agreement is close. This is Yuri and Timber. From what I'm hearing, the agreement is close. It's not done yet. They're still discussing some points of the deal. Of course, the feeling is that the deal will be completed. The expectation is that for this week to get it done, then to have the medical and complete the formal process to see Yuri and Timber in an Arsenal shirt. It's very advanced. It's not done yet, but it is very advanced. Let me clarify. Timber only wanted and only wants Arsenal, so he's really desperate to join Arsenal. He's convinced that this is the perfect project for him and his future. So we are still waiting for it to be done. It's not done yet, but it is very close. Leeds Gunner says Granit Xhaka for 21.5 million to buy Leverkusen is a brilliant deal for us. Absolutely, it is. It is indeed. And Nathan says, is Tchouaméni realistic? Not for me. Not for me. I would be flabbergasted if we signed Tchouaméni. Absolutely flabbergasted. I don't know what that is. Seen a rumour yesterday, no credible source, that Fabio Vieira could go out on loan to Brighton to replace McAllister. That sounds like a great deal for all parties. I can't lie. I would love to see Fabio Vieira go out on loan to Brighton. I think if Fabio Vieira was going to go out on loan, it would have to be to someone like Brighton or Villa. It would have to be to another Premier League that's capable of performing at a very high level. What am I having for dinner? Chicken burgers today. Chicken and halloumi burger. Oh, gorgeous. Thoughts on Edson Alvarez to Arsenal? So Edson Alvarez's deal. Edson Alvarez was meant to go to Borussia Dortmund. It was almost a done deal. It was one of those ones where Fabrizio Romano was getting ready for a "here we go" tweet on it, and it all fell apart. To be honest, I don't think he's a good enough level for Arsenal. I don't think he is. Chicken and halloumi burger. Wow, what a dinner! Honestly, it's sensational. It is sensational. More chance Arsenal get Osimhen or Mbappe than Tchouaméni. We're not getting Mbappe. We're not getting Tchouaméni. I don't like to be a doom bringer. It's not even a doom bringer. It's just not going to happen. I just think you've got to be realistic here. In a window, and this is the truth, right? Arsenal are going to be a little bit limited over the next couple of years in the transfer window because of this Declan Rice signing. Paying for Declan Rice over 2 years, it's a lot of money. And it will tie us up a little bit. Not in terms of, signing players like Timber and Havertz, but in terms of paying for players like Tchouaméni or Mbappe, and with only so far 1 year's worth of Champions League money, for example, we've got to be a little bit realistic. 19 million for an unproven goalkeeper by Burnley. Is Company trying to pull off his version of Ramsdale? It's one of those ones. So you're talking about Trafford. I can't remember his first name. It's one of those. It is a lot of money for a keeper that is, he was at Bolton last season. Very good at Bolton. I think he had the most clean sheets in League One last season. But it does feel a little bit reminiscent of Ramsdale. But look how well Ramsdale worked out. Is it just me, or is this Caicedo to Chelsea? If this Caicedo to Chelsea deal stalls out long enough, can we make a run and bid for him? Again, this is one of those ones where I do have a little bit of hope over Caicedo because he was such a massive target for us, and we know he was. And I think early in this window, I think Arsenal looked at it and thought, realistically, we probably aren't going to be able to get Rice and Caicedo. Once Chelsea were in for Caicedo, it felt like it was, that was probably only going to go one way. But like you said, it's moving really, really slowly. And the competition for Caicedo, you've got Liverpool, who I don't know if they can go in for him financially. You've got Man United, who definitely can't go in for him financially. And you might end up in a position where Arsenal could go for it. It's one to keep an eye on for sure. And the longer it goes without him joining Chelsea, the better it is, the more confident we can get. But for now, I do think it's highly unlikely, if I have to say. Rory, I have a video of Declan Rice coming out of London Colney, but in a car on TikTok. Send it to me on Twitter. So good being able to see the players in training today. Missed that feeling from last season. You bring me on to yet another talking point from today. So this came from Kaya Kainak, or it was taken from Kaya Kainak's YouTube video. That William Saliba, Gabriel Martinelli, Tomiyasu and Zinchenko all reported for training at London Colney yesterday, even though they weren't pictured. They were now pictured. We've seen pictures. I don't think we've seen a picture of Saliba. I've definitely seen pictures of Tomiyasu, Zinchenko and Gabriel Martinelli. It is fantastic to see them all back. Now, there isn't the training that they were doing was not proper, physical, intense training. So William Saliba's been able to run and stuff for a while, so there's no guarantees that the fact that William Saliba was pictured in training or was at training guarantees that he's going to be able to start the season or that he has recovered from his injury. But it is a somewhat promising sign. Charles Watts posted pictures of Saliba. Very good, very good. So there is a Saliba picture out. But again, the activities that they were doing don't necessarily mean that they're all fit yet. I see us having 2 10s and 1 6, almost emulating the season where Man City had De Bruyne, Fernandinho, and Silva. That was a scary team. I do think that is what that's what Arteta has been working towards in certain games. So effectively, I think Rice will be your Fernandinho, Havertz will be your De Bruyne, and Ødegaard will be your Silva in that sort of capacity. Where is Saka? He's not at training. I think he's just taking a bit of an extended break. I think Saka is taking a bit of an extended holiday, which, fair play. I think he has deserved it. Because actually, the only reason that Declan Rice is back in the country is because he cut his holiday short. Because England had international games. So I actually think, I don't think Ramsdale's back either yet. I think they got extra time because of the international break. Ross Lawman says that's why I think Vieira will be our Bernardo Silva with the 2 10s. Possibly. Very possibly. I can't see Havertz doing what De Bruyne did. I mean, look, Havertz isn't at De Bruyne's level. But I don't know. Would Brighton still be interested in Nketiah? Or would they be more interested in Balogun? I don't think Brighton could afford Balogun. I know Brighton are making a lot of money in sales, but I don't think they'd spend that sort of money on Balogun, honestly. Or both, cash plus player for Caicedo possible, or am I dreaming? You're not... I mean, to be honest, right, cash plus player deals are very difficult to do. You don't see them very often because generally speaking, the two teams have a completely different valuation of the player. So they're very difficult deals to do. In terms of... Look, the thing is, we are still quoting 50 million for Balogun. And this is one of the reasons I think Balogun ends up staying at Arsenal this season. Because we are rightfully quoting 50 million for him. I think it's fair to ask for 50 million for Balogun based on what other players around Europe are going for that had similar seasons to him. If you look at Jonathan David as an example. But I don't think anyone pays 50 million for him. So I think we'll end up in this sort of catch-22 where, we want 50 million, which is fair, but no one wants to pay 50 million. And you've got to think, outside the Premier League, there really aren't that many teams anymore that can pay 50 million. Like, it just doesn't happen. It's why I think it's so good that we're getting 21.5 million for Granit Xhaka from Bayer Leverkusen. I think most fans have completely forgotten how good Partey was last season. I think a lot of... Look, there's still a section of the fan base that want Partey gone for non-footballing reasons, and you have to respect their opinion on that. You don't have to agree with it, but you have to respect it as an opinion. And then there are people that I do think... Look, there's two sides to it, right? For the first half of the season, Thomas Partey was, one of the best players in the league. There was, there were fair conversations around Partey and Rodri and Casemiro, and which of them were better. He did massively drop off, though. It has to be said, he massively dropped off. And so I can understand why people are remembering the Partey of the final 10 games of the season. And so far, we've never seen him go a full season and play at that high level for a full season. So he would still have to prove that and prove that he can do that anyway. Rory, what's the colour scheme of the world map behind you? Are the shades indicative of anything? I don't think they're indicative of anything. I don't think so. I don't know. Good question. Partey aging and a bit inconsistent and a little injury prone. There are better players. Yeah, I think it's one of those, right? Thomas Partey, at his best, is like arguably one of the best players in the Premier League. His absolute best, he is a Rolls Royce. But how often do you get Thomas Partey at his absolute best? I actually think we got him at his best for a long time last season, but I don't know if you'll get that this season. It is a problem. Why aren't we going for a backup for Saka? They're expensive. There aren't many of them. That's the truth in terms of Saka is that if you wanted a left-footed right winger that has the same sort of attributes as Bukayo Saka, there just aren't many of them in the market that can compete with him. And the ones that there are, Rafinha, Moussa Diaby, they're expensive players, and I don't think we can afford it this summer. I think we'll be relying on the fact that we've got quite a few players that can, in some capacity, play off the right. And I do still think that someone like Xavi Simons is an option, and you could see him there. Nelson is the backup for Saka. Yeah, I think Nelson is the backup for Saka, but the problem with that is that Nelson still hasn't proved that he can do it consistently. Play it, the level that he plays at when he comes off the bench, you've got to be able to do that week in, week out. Realistically, he hasn't proven he can do that. And also, it's a very different. Basically, the whole system changes, right? When you go from having a left-footed player in Saka that's more likely to cut inside to having someone like Nelson that's going to want to take it down the wing, it's very different. We have been linked to Chukwueze from Villarreal that Chukwueze is at. Very good player. Very good player. Was it in the... I can't remember. This season, he had an unbelievable game, didn't he? He had one unbelievable game. I think in the Europa League or whatever it was in. But I do remember seeing that. Teams will prepare better for Arsenal. You won't be the surprise package. It's coming from MCFC Protocol. What a name. Who does he think he is? But to an extent, he's not wrong. The way that Arsenal played last season was very predictable. By the end of the season, it was very predictable. Now, against a lot of teams in the Premier League, as predictable as it was still, they couldn't do anything about it. The good thing I think about next season is that we won't be as predictable. I think bringing in players like Havertz, Rice and Timber, they will allow for us to make changes and tweaks to the system depending on the opposition week in, week out. And I think that'll make it less predictable, which should help us avoid those sort of circumstances where, like you say, there are people teams that can predict us. Just got an email that I successfully got accepted in the ballot against Forest. Let's go. What does that? Are you Ollie? Are you a silver member? Because I don't think as a red member, I don't think I've even entered the ballot yet. I think that happens this week. I think. Or does it just mean you're in the ballot? What does that mean, Ollie? Let me know. This is why I thought Kulusevski would have been a very cost-effective backup left-footed right winger. Yeah, I don't disagree. Who do you prefer as a pundit, Gary Neville or Carra? I prefer Carragher. I do prefer Carragher. I'm waiting for Ollie. Oh, Ollie's a junior. Ollie's a junior gunner. Good for you, Ollie. Enjoy it. I am praying that I'm able to get mine, but I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. 3 at the back, suffocate the midfield and final third, honestly, would blow 70% of teams away. Well, that's the thing. That as good as Arsenal, as good as other teams were against us, most teams knew exactly the way we were going to play every week, and they still couldn't stop us. Which I think is something that Arteta has enjoyed. Arteta's plan, I think, has been to create something that it doesn't matter if people know what we're going to do. They still can't stop it. You winning the league this season? I don't know. Are you going to the Community Shield? No, probably not. I'd love to go to the Community Shield, but the tickets only go on sale to... Do you know what? One thing I might do for the Community Shield is just go and buy a Man City ticket, because there's no way Man City fans are going to sell out their allocation. So I think I might just take a Man City ticket and wear a bit of a disguise. Because the Arsenal tickets are only going on sale to season ticket holders. So that might have to be the route for that one. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you an ex or current Arsenal player's career path minus the Arsenal part of it, and you have to guess who that player is. You get an immense level of pride and respect in the Rory Talks Football community, in the chat. If you're on TikTok and you want to get involved, get over to the YouTube channel. The link is in my bio. Get your comments in, and we will get into it. Dirks was the winner yesterday. They might sell them all out because all of them live in London. Yeah, but the ones that live in London don't actually want to spend money and go to a game. They just want to be on Twitter, don't they? If people can't stop us, it increases the fear factor. Exactly. Do you know one of the biggest advantages that Man City had towards the end of last season was that teams just went into the games assuming that they were going to lose. Teams were resting players because they knew that they had more important games that they were more likely to win after it. It's a big advantage. It's a big advantage. Anyway, guess the Gooner. Guess the Gooner. So again, this is a player, an ex or current Arsenal player. I will give you their full career path minus the Arsenal part of it. You have to guess who it is. I'll be honest, this one is tricky. This one is tricky. So this player started at Figueirense. They went on loan to Flamengo. They went on loan to Atletico MG. They went to Corinthians. They went to Fenerbahce. They went to Gremio on loan. They went to Flamengo. They went to FC Goa. They went to Botafogo. They went to FC Will 1900. They went to Bulaspor. And they went to Figueirense. Who is it? Who is it? So that again, Figueirense, Flamengo on loan, Atletico MG on loan, Corinthians, Fenerbahce, Gremio on loan, Flamengo, Goa, Botafogo, FC Will, Bulaspor, Figueirense, and the first person to get it was Halas. There you go, Andre Santos. It was Andre Santos. Halas got it first. There were some good shouts in there. Obviously, lots of Brazilian shouts. Willian, Gilberto, David Luiz. But it was indeed... And do you know what? Halas got Santos, and it took a while before anyone else got it. VV Vlad came second. Steve 91 came third. Tailwood Studio came fourth. And William Saliba is injured came fifth. So congratulations to Halas. Give him a round of applause. He gets the respect of the Arsenal and Rory Talks Football community. Because that was a tricky one. That was a tricky one. A player that did not play very often or very well for the Arsenal. So there you go. Andre Santos. Well done to Halas. And now for the Guess the Non Gooner. This is a player who does not and has not played for Arsenal. I'll give you their full career path. You have to guess who it is. You get pride, you get respect. Not quite as much as if you guess the Gooner, but you do get some. So this player started at Paris Saint-Germain. They went on loan to RC Lens. They went on loan to Bastia. They went on loan to Villarreal. They went on loan to Real Madrid. They went on loan to Fulham. They went on loan to West Ham and made a permanent move to West Ham. Who is the player? Paris Saint-Germain, on loan to Lens, on loan to Bastia, on loan to Villarreal, on loan to Real Madrid, on loan to Fulham, on loan to West Ham, and a permanent move to West Ham. The player was Alphonse Areola, and the winner was one Jake Maddiford. Congratulations to Jake Maddiford. He got it first. William Saliba is injured, came second. SS9 came third. Dirks came fourth. And Jacques Porcheron came fifth. He does have a French flag, and it was a French player. So arguably, Jacques, you've let your country down with that one, only coming fifth. But it was indeed Alphonse Areola. What a career. What a career. Just an absolute loan merchant who is now at West Ham. Turns out the stadium tours was because of Russo. Yeah, so yesterday it was Russo, although there are some people that also think Saliba might have done something yesterday as well to announce his new contract. But the stadium is also closed on all day on the 8th, which would suggest that they're doing something big on the 8th as well. Ross Lawman said he's losing his touch. It's been a while since Ross Lawman's won. You know, back in the early days of the streams, there was a bit less competition. And, you know, arguably Ross Lawman was a big shark in a small pond. And the pond is increasing. It's now more of a lake. And Ross is more of a bass or I don't know, some other sort of fish. But there you go. There you go. Don't know what I'm talking about, really. Thoughts on Osasuna's expulsion from the Conference League? Absolutely no idea. You're going to have to explain that one for me, because I have absolutely no idea. Is the Rice deal true? Please, I was late. It's very, very close. According to Jacob Steinberg, Arsenal are finalising the terms, having agreed to pay for him in 3 instalments over 24 months. So it is very, very close. There was a bit last night. There was a bit of miscommunication. People thought, can you just stop spamming Rice? I appreciate you know, being here and commenting, but it's getting a bit annoying. 204 viewers these days. Yeah, we're big time. We're big time. But yeah, no, there was a bit of miscommunication on Twitter last night from someone took ex-West Ham United employee out of context a little bit and basically suggested that either it was done in 72 hours' time or it would collapse. That was not the truth. It was just that it was expected that within 72 hours it would be done. And it sounds like it's going to be. It does sound like it's going to be. Ross Lawman needs some rice. He does indeed. 5k by Saturday. We'll see. Look, if you're new, please do subscribe. If you're not subscribed already, please do subscribe. I do massively appreciate it. And like I said, the videos that are going to be coming out at the end of the week, slightly different videos for this channel. They're going to be reaction videos. Just reacting to some Arsenal videos that I've picked out on YouTube that I've not watched before, but I think should be good watches. And I'll do a reaction to them. Why not? Try something new, just to make sure that the channel keeps going whilst I'm away. I was there from the beginning, won once and failed ever since. You've been close on numerous occasions, though, SS9. You have been close. It will be ages for Rice announcements anyway, even after we get the official here we go, at least 48 hours, if not 72. Yeah, there will be a bit of a delay between the here we go and the actual announcement on Arsenal social media and stuff like that. Crazy to think that we've never signed a player from West Ham. Rice will be the first. Is that true? Is that true? I'm trying to think of an example to prove your point wrong, but I've no reason to assume that you're lying, to be honest. So it's probably correct, and I'm probably not going to think of one if I try. But yeah, and this is the thing, right? Some people were saying, "Oh, you know, you don't want to tarnish the relationship." I saw some West Ham fans saying, "Oh, you know, West Ham won't want to do business with Arsenal again." This is the first time we've ever signed someone from you. There is no one in that squad realistically we're going to want to sign. What, you know? Put in the flipping Angelo Ogbonna deal next season at risk. That is what it is. Who do you think Lavia signs for? I've got a bad feeling he's going to sign for Liverpool. I do think he'll sign for Liverpool. And in a way, one thing to point out, no stream crashes. Well, you say that, Dominic. The stream crashed yesterday. The stream did crash yesterday, but we have improved. The stream quality has improved. Yeah, I think Lavia is going to go to Liverpool. And to be honest, I don't necessarily think it's a bad move for him to go to Liverpool. I think especially if we still have Partey. If we have Partey, Rice and Jorginho, Lavia would struggle early doors to get into the Arsenal team. So I don't think it's I wouldn't hold it against him if he wanted to move to Liverpool. Although apparently his first choice is Arsenal, so who knows. Lacazette. Lacazette is in the top 5 strikers in the world. Just absorb that statement. Lacazette is in the top 5 strikers in the world. Who do you think said that? If you don't know where that's come from, guesses in the chat who might have said that. Who might have said that Lacazette is in the top 5 strikers in the world? Lacazette. Lacazette. Top 5 in the world. Top 5 strikers. Did Lacazette say it? No, Lacazette didn't say it. Lacazette's not mental. Lacazette wouldn't put himself in the top 10. He's a humble guy. Lacazette didn't say it. No. Lewis Bowden, notorious Newcastle fan, decided to say that on the Pitchside podcast. And you know what? Absolute barbaric comment. Absolute. And look, yes, he scored a lot of goals for Lyon last season. But the season before that, and the season before that, when he wasn't playing in what is now the 7th ranked league in Europe, When he wasn't playing in those leagues and he had the chance, he was well. I mean, the season before last when we got rid of him, he was genuinely terrible. I mean, it's just absolutely barbaric. I don't even know what to say about it. I mean, it's the one United fan on TikTok that says destroyed, humbled, and embarrassed. I don't even know who says that on TikTok. Boovie loves to say embarrassing. Boovie's most used word is embarrassing. But I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I didn't even. It blew me away. It blew me away. Forget guess the Gooner. Let's do guess the pitch side quote. Guess the pitch side quote would be a great game. That would actually be a good game. Don't slander Ligue 1. Need Balogun hype. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And Lacazette did outscore Balogun last season. But Lacazette had his chance in the Premier League. He scored what, 2 non-penalty goals in the season before last, if I'm not mistaken. Just shambolic. Absolutely shambolic. What is your Spanish club? I don't know if I've got a Spanish club, really. What would be my Spanish club? What would be my Spanish club? Real Sociedad? Was it? It was Real. Am I thinking of the right people? No. Who did we sign Cazorla and Nacho Monreal from? Was it Malaga? Was it Malaga? Was it Malaga we signed Cazorla and Monreal from? It was. Malaga are my Spanish team. Because they hit financial difficulties and provided us with Santi Cazorla. It was Malaga. No, he was at Villarreal before Malaga, and he was at Villarreal after Arsenal. But we signed him from Malaga. So there you go. That's my favourite Spanish team. What a player. Arsenal through and through. No one else. Yeah. Rice, here we go tonight. I don't know if we'll get here we go tonight. No, it wasn't Villarreal. So he started at Villarreal, and he was at Villarreal before Malaga, and he was at Villarreal after Arsenal. But Malaga were the team that we signed him from. You see Lewis Skelly and Kozia Dubry going to the first team in a couple of years. Miles Lewis Skelly more so than Kozia Dubry, which I know a lot of people don't like, but it's just my honest opinion, having watched quite a lot of both of them over the last season or so. I feel like Kozia Dubry still has quite a lot of development to do. And, yeah. I think Miles Lewis Skelly is excellent, though. What's your opinion on Cesc, AFC legend? It's a difficult one. I don't think he gets considered as a legend. Unfortunately. Where do you live? I live in London. Now. Pretty boring. Well, it's not boring. It's an amazing city, but selling Balogun would be like Serge Gnabry all over again. It won't. Because, and I'll tell you for why. Serge Gnabry we got no money for. And he went on to be very, very good. Balogun, if we get 50 million for him, it's happy days. Like, it's not the same. And don't get me wrong, we could sell Balogun for 50 million and he might go on to be worth 80 or 90 million. But even still, the 50 million that we would get now and be able to reinvest in the squad, it wouldn't be the same. Best Arsenal 11. Seaman, Cole, Adams, Campbell, Dicko, Vieira, Blanc, Bergkamp, Perez, Henry, and Wright. Blank second. Who goes in the second spot next to Vieira? To be honest, I honestly think it would be Gilberto. I think Gilberto still gets underrated for how good he was. And other than that, I pretty much agree with it, to be fair. Although I would have a shout for... No, I wouldn't. I think that's fair. Saka, though. Genuinely think Saka will close in on that team quite soon. Quite quickly. Although I don't know what you'd do. You'd play him off the right. I guess you'd play him off the right, Henry off the left, and right down the middle. Ozil doesn't get in there for me. Because if you put Ozil in, you'd have to take Bergkamp out. You wouldn't take out... You wouldn't have a midfield three of Vieira, Ozil, and Bergkamp. You wouldn't. Which team has the best midfield? Arsenal, United, or Liverpool? I think with Rice coming in, it has to be Arsenal. I would say Liverpool second and Man United third. Truthfully. I still think that, especially with that Liverpool midfield, I know they needed to completely, effectively rebuild that midfield, but I still think players like, Fabinho, I wouldn't completely write him off yet. Still got Thiago, Bjakatic as well. Even, to be honest, towards the end of last season, I thought, what's his name? Curtis Jones was coming on really well, so... I'd say Arsenal first, Liverpool second, Manchester United third. We have more depth now? Yeah, we do. We do indeed. What's your take on Partey and all the allegations? Do you believe that's why we want to sell? I don't think it actually affects why we want to sell. I think the reason we want to sell is that if you can get 40 million for someone like Thomas Partey at his age, with his injury record so far, since he's moved to us, I don't think it has anything to do with the other thing. In terms of the other thing, supposedly, if it's him, his bail's been extended until August now. Look, truthfully, I think the way it ends up fizzling out is the same way that it fizzled out for Sigurdsson and Bissouma, and, I think it'll end up being dropped. But I don't actually think it's got an effect on why Arsenal want to sell him at the moment, truthfully. Hi from yesterday. Hello, Riley. Good to see you. United fans crying Casemiro. Yeah, Casemiro is a very good player, but it's the players that are around him for me. I think if you were to do like a direct comparison with the other midfields, I think Casemiro would be close to getting into the best midfield almost out of them, but then none of the other players do. Bruno doesn't get in over Ødegaard, and also the weakness in that whoever they're left, whether it's Mason Mount or Christian Eriksen or Fred or McTominay, they don't have a third midfielder that I really think competes. Is Partey staying or going? Because that decision needs to be made quick before all the quality midfielders are gone in this window. We don't know. I think it depends if Saudi come in for him. No one in Europe is going to pay the money for Partey that we would need for him. So I think it will massively depend on if we can get him to Saudi or not. First manager to be sacked this season. Oh, good question. First manager to be sacked this season. So it's got to be a team that are quite trigger happy with sackings, and a team that are going to do quite badly. That's a good question. I would say there are so many new managers. That's one thing to bear in mind. I would say Bournemouth coach. No, I don't think it will be the Bournemouth coach because they made such a massive call. I don't think it will be Poch either. Because of the way that Chelsea have handled it all, I just don't think they can afford to do that again. And I don't think it'll be the Bournemouth coach because they've made a big call to get rid of what's his name in the first place. So I don't think it would be. It could, yeah, Lopetegui. That's a great shout. Ollie Crossland, Wolves coach, Lopetegui. That's a great shout. Because, and one of the main reasons is that he's on a lot of money. That would be mine. Lopetegui. And on that bombshell, that is going to be the end of the stream. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back tomorrow as normal. Tomorrow will be the last stream until a week on the following Monday. So tomorrow will be the last stream, but I will be back as normal tomorrow. If you've enjoyed the stream, please smash a like on it. If you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed so far, please do subscribe. It massively does help me out. Other than that, have a fantastic evening. Hopefully we get a Declan Rice Here We Go over the next 24 hours and we can talk about it tomorrow. But until then, yeah, have a good one and cheers.